Oh, we are back with another talking head here. Let's see. A couple weeks ago, I was talking about Switch 2 and how Nintendo is doing a lot of things that really nobody is agreeing with, even though, the system is going to sell out and it's going to sell very well, but those are not real sales because those are to scalpers who are going to try to mark it up and sell it for more to generate that false economy. But a lot of people who aren't professional streamers, I do see, are not going to day one the console, or if they are, they don't really understand why so many people have issues with it. So aside from it being a all digital console that accepts physical game licenses, I had talked, I believe, in a comment on one of Lewis's posts about how there's the possibility of Nintendo nuking Switches once they shut the servers off by requiring periodic check-ins to Nintendo Online to verify that no modifications or hacks or anything else have been done to the console. And somebody had posted, well, that'd be real easy to get around. We just redirect it to our own private server and Nintendo never knows anything. But that's exactly what Nintendo is trying to get away from. Well, now, apparently, 5 days before the official release, some retailers have sold them early, or they fell off a truck, however it may be. And multiple people have released videos of the Switch 2 pre-release, and they are requiring a day one update before they can even set up the system. Very similar to what Microsoft does with Xbox. If you reformat the Xbox and go through the initial setup, you have to connect to search for an update. If the Xbox Live server is not there, your Xbox is a brick. And we are seeing, at least now, Nintendo doing the same thing. It is a genius on their part, because even if somebody sells you a Switch 2 before release, you cannot use it because that update is not going to be available until day one. Number two, our bigger concern, Nintendo can nuke the console anytime they want. And if your console is still alive whenever they shut the servers down, i.e. Wii U and 3DS, it's really sounding more likely like they're going to require periodic internet connections, if not a persistent connection, which nobody knows yet because nobody has them set up and going, which would make sense with the way that they're doing the game cartridges just being licenses. And it's also not been said smartly on Nintendo's part, because they're learning from what Microsoft did with the Xbox One. It is yet to be determined if those physical cartridges are tied to your Nintendo ID, which I think they will be. Maybe that's already been announced and I missed it. I don't know, but I think they will be. And that's part of GameShare. GameShare is tied to your Nintendo account. So to be able to GameShare a physical cartridge between two Switches, you would have the linkage. So I think that by the time this actually gets out in the wild, we're going to realize that you can't trade these cartridges in. It basically registers the game to your Nintendo account, and then that's it. So otherwise, it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. So it remains to be seen, but I will continue to not have any plans to buy a Switch 2. I still have my original Switch. I have disconnected it from the internet. Unfortunately, version 20 auto-updated beforehand. Have not decided. I don't think it's really worth selling. It still has decent value. I don't think it's going to be worth like a couple $100, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't see any reason why what I have won't continue to work. And that's my main concern. Is it still worth collecting original Switch to archive and preserve? That remains to be seen how much I want to invest in it long term. Right now, I am investing primarily in cartridge-based systems, as there's no optical disc reader to fail. Especially as we're now seeing, like, optical disc emulators were really key to GameCube and Dreamcast preservation, and now that we're starting to see lawsuits and takedown requests, that's just not something that I want to get into. I'm more with the original hardware. So, it remains to be seen, but if you have not heard that, a little bit more info on Switch 2, I really think that they're going to have to, A, get Xbox Game Pass on their platform, or Steam. If Switch 2 gets Steam, then that is going to pretty much render Steam Deck's moot. That's going to render Microsoft's Xbox handheld that has now been mysteriously put on pause moot, which I've said before, I don't see any reason that Microsoft should build an Xbox handheld. Just put Game Pass on Switch 2, call it a day. No R&D. You don't have a period where you're losing money on your hardware sales, and it doesn't end up like the Vita, where you get bored with it after a couple years and just ignore it. Let Nintendo do all the legwork, just put your software on it. That's all that we care. That's all that matters. And it will be one of the most dominant selling consoles ever. And then that will also kind of push Nintendo's hand as to just what they want to do. Because the first time somebody loses $5,000 worth of saved games when they didn't actually violate terms of service, that's going to be a big time lawsuit. And it's probably a good thing that Call of Duty is not really a thing on Switch, because a lot of people that I have come across through my game career that got unjustly banned from Xbox Live was because they beat somebody in Call of Duty, that person filed a false complaint, Microsoft kicked them without even investigating, because you really can't investigate it, because it's impossible to record everything in a game for human review. And especially if a guy's got a couple of buddies that also file reports, then you become a serial offender and you're gone. And you don't have to actually do anything outside of the terms of service. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Just wanted to drop that out there, as that's kind of a disconcerting update. But we'll see. It's T-minus Thursday, so we'll see. It'll sell big, but we'll see what it actually sells for on eBay after the fact. Peace.